to another high-powered episode of the High Voltage Live Show. I'm your host, Willie Snyder, coming to you live from the Mile High City in Denver, Colorado, joined by my awesome co-host, Mr. King James Stalkup, over there in Big Sky Country, Texas, giving old hook 'em horns for the old Longhorns over there. And we're giving you old Longhorn salute here from Mile High City, James. You know, it is so awesome that we have all this stuff that we can bring to you guys every week. I have a blast doing it. I know James does. And so he has his link that he put in here. And this is where you'll go to get like free online courses. He has like a bunch of free, examples of his publication. Constantly putting stuff out there. Which is really awesome. I'm enjoying it a lot. It really means a lot that you could just bring that to that next level. And a lot of these guys are just kind of, I don't know if they're intentionally trying to get stuff wrong to try to bring people to their platform. I don't really understand it, but we had a lot of misinformation come out the 2026. Oh, did you already do that?
Yeah.
Yeah, what's up, brother?
What's SB? Tell us who SB is.
Yeah, I don't know, man. It looks like his first
We
time
get so many
here.
newer people on here all the time.
Yeah.
Y'all picked a good night. Happy New Year to everybody, by the way. Starting the new year off right. I'm gonna take some time tonight. I'm gonna show y'all some of the new stuff. I put a free designing wiring methods course online. Hey, David. How
What's
you
up,
doing,
David
brother?
Engelhardt's up in here. Mr. E, Electrical Wizardry in house.
And
yeah, he's checking out that game. Looks like just started.
yeah, just started. They're 5 minutes in. It was 0-0, and as I was looking at it, Miami was driving, so they might have got a field goal or something. But anyway, we got the designing wiring methods, and I have an example of what the code changes are going to look like online. The version that I will be putting out for the states, though, will be a little bit different. But when I show all this, you will have access to the whole course once you get your state license. You'll have to go through all the state license first before you have access to it.
Nice.
But I am going to put all that on there, and I will tell you it is it's looking pretty sweet.
Oh, dude, I think I know what SB is.
Broncos country, let's ride.
Super Bowl.
Broncos country, let's ride.
Yeah, baby. That's what SB is. But no, it's awesome. Welcome in, SB. Your first time joining. This is a really fun show. We just kind of do what we want. We like figure out whatever. I kind of throw shade at a bunch of the other code guys that are calling themselves experts and getting like a wrong take on it, So he really got a good joke out of that one. So yeah.
Well, it'll be good because we're going to show some different things tonight. Something that was stated that they don't know what the hell they're talking about. But before we get started, that is okay if I take over?
Yeah, go for it.
All right. I'm going to share a screen here so everybody can.
Oh, I guess it's Sean. Right on. Welcome in, Sean.
Well, welcome, brother. Glad you come to the podcast. And I'm going to share the screen here, and I'm going to show everybody. Let me get it on full screen here. Now, when you come over here to the site, of course, you can just purchase the code change publication. But right after you go past that, you'll see we have the code changes here. This is a free example course of what it's going to look like. And we also take and show you some of the examples of the illustrations you'll see in there. Very high quality. And then we also have the designing wiring methods free course. So I'll start with that one, then I'll go back to the code changes. So all you have to do is just click here and it'll take you right over the page. It's already set up and everything. And when you get over here,
you said you had a lot of people already jumping on that one, right?
Yeah, there's been a lot of people just come over and even done anything yet. They're just signing on right now. I think they're looking at everything. But we're getting a lot of traffic.
Nice.
And I've noticed that through the groups and through getting a lot of views on YouTube and Rumble and everything else. And with the new year coming up, 2026, I wanted to give everybody a glimpse into the future of what you're going to see as far as online courses are concerned. You'll notice in this, and we also provide you with a publication of it, so you can see the publication to go with this. And I'm just going to go ahead and click on this and open it up. All right. Now, when you open this up, I've already opened it up. I've been playing with it, making sure everything looks right. I'm going to collapse this on the left side. Now, I do want to point something out that you will see as you start getting into this. You can connect with here on the left-hand side. You got your learning path and everything. Then you can connect with other learners. And then you can also have discussion here. You can create tables and do whatever you want. If, say, you're an instructor and you wanted just this one little course here, I can take and make this course for you, and then I'll put it in a private mode. And the only people that would be able to comment on this course or anything is you and your students. So you would have direct access to just your students as you're going through this little bit of course here. Okay. Now, one of the things, let's go down to the next one. I think it'd be better. So I'm going to continue over to where I'm going to do like size and raceways, different size conductors. Now, I do want to point one other little thing here. Right down here on the left, I have a floating toggle here. You can come in here and you can look at different things. So say I just wanted to look here at counting and calculating box fill. Okay. What I did is I built out another little portion to this before you start getting into the calculations and stuff. So I'm just going to click on this, and this is going to take me over to look at this section. Okay. So as you come in this, we got like little pictures and stuff, but everything has been broken down of things that you need to look at. In other words, we correlated a lot of stuff here. So say I come in and I'm looking at, I want to look at my box fill calculation methods. How do I go about doing my count methods? Well, we've come in here and we've put a little synopsis here for you of things, just quick things for you to know when you get into conductor count. And then we put some key terms in here that you need to think about. Say like the yoke, that's the device itself. These are just quick terms that you should get familiar with when you're doing box fill calculation. And then we get in, talk about visualizing all this. And then we talk about the step-by-step box fill calculation. And then we give you a thing through here of everything you need to consider when you're going in and you're doing this type of calculation. And then we just check your understanding here, just ask you some quick questions for you to go in and just quick things for you to learn. So in other words, say how many pigtails are counted in box fill?
You're asking me?
Yeah.
It would be 4, right? Like it would be like every 1/4.
Pigtails are not counted at all.
Oh yeah. Well, I thought you meant how many grounds count as
a
conductor.
So you just come in here and you click that and check it. We come in here, ask you another question. You know, you got 2 number 14, 2 cables, 1 duplex, receptacle and a clamp. How many does that count? So we just put a little bit of stuff in here. Then we show you a bunch of different types of box fill things that are in here, the different type of boxes. And then we give you some takeaways for you to think about. Okay. So just that alone, I promise you're not going to see that in any other course. We literally took and did a lot of work on that little portion of it. Now, say I'm going to come down and I'm going to look at size and raceways for different size conductors. And I think everybody's really going to like this. And then at any time you can collapse this floating navigation bar on the side if you want. Now, as you go in, we'll give you an example problem. We'll work one for you, take you step by step, give you all the sections, tables, anything that we're using here in order to determine that. Then we create a pretty cool looking background here, and we give you some guidance right off the bat. So we tell you if you want to look at the section or table, whatever we're referencing here, in this case, say I'm wanting to determine my square inch for each conductor. Okay. So just say I'm looking at a number 14 here, and this is THW, and I'm going to go to table 5. Come here. We have a real nice table set up for you here. You can come in and get your square inch fill. Another thing that we done, in case you're on your phone, you don't see it too well, you can come in here to table 5 and you can click this and it'll go up in even the fuller version.
Oh, nice.
So
that's cool.
We tried to think of all the things that we could do to make this really, really nice for you. Now, one of the great things is, as I'm looking, let me go back here. So I'm looking at a number 14 and I want to see what the square inch is. 0.0097, that's my approximate area for the square inch fill here. So I've determined this. I can come over here and just hover above this blank right here, and you can just go in and put number 14. Okay? Yeah. And then you sort of work this. You work the problem out and size the conduit by using these tables here. And then you can come down here and you can click on the answer key and then check and see if you did everything correctly.
Yeah, and
okay?
you could kind of see some quirky stuff that we've done on the podcast, like in the past, where I had one where I tried to see how many number 12s I could get in a 3/4, and then he showed, like King James shows how you work the problem and figure that out. I think we figured out it was like 65% was the most I could fit in there.
Yeah, and see, this is what makes it great, is because we're putting all this technology into a learning course, and say here, you got a multiple choice question. I don't remember what it is. What will say 1.5 inches? Okay. I'm going to submit it. I got it wrong. Okay. So you come down here and then we tell you what you did wrong and we give you what the correct answer is and we show you the correct answer step by step. So nice. You can take it again and come through here. You work it again. You got 1.25 inches. Then we tell you it's right.
Nice.
Okay, so this is really intuitive for people to be able to use. We put a lot of work into it, and I think everybody's going to really like this once they really start getting into it. And I'm going to go back. I want to look at the code changes. And
Miami scored a field goal, and then Ole Miss goes 3 and out. Man, okay. Miami's just looking so tough, man. That game's meaningless to me, but my bracket's already destroyed over there. But
of course it is. All right, then this is what the code changes are going to look like. So in these, you can go on right now, just sign up. You can go in and play with this, get used to it. I will tell you this: there's more things we're going to be adding down the line, but just trying to get it out, it's still way better than anything that you're going to see out there. So it'll take you to your cover page, and then I'm just going to click here and go right into the course.
I've been trying to kind of ease James into that. There's a chance that somebody might have something better. We just haven't seen it yet. We've been waiting a little bit of a time to try to see, but so far, it could happen,
Welcome to the illustrated NEC changes
one of the things that I've done here,
over 10 years of development and testing has created an online learning environment like no one.
Let me get out of here. Now I'll go back to that. Let me go back. What that is, I put together a little video to tell you exactly what is happening.
The new language in the National Electrical Code states that this code is divided into the introduction.
I've got it set up if you just want to go ahead and start. But we have a video here. On this video, I'm going to go ahead and play it so you can listen.
As shown in figure 90.3.
Now, right here, I can click and you'll see the video stopped. Okay? Now I can come back here. Now, the reason it's automatically playing right now because I'm getting this set up for state licensing. I'm going to come back. This won't automatically play. Right now, I have it set up that way because I'm checking stuff as I go to get ready for the state licensing portion.
But, yeah, and I
chapters
took
1 through 4.
Now I took your 2020 and you had kind of a similar thing, and I really enjoyed it. Like I thought it was easy to get through really quick. It was a good price, and it was like I felt like I kind of learned something about the code changes.
Yeah, well, one of the good things about this, as you're going through this, is you notice, even as I did this one right here, I was able to take and the video paused, and when I came right back to it, it started up again.
Right.
So that is, it took me a while to figure out how to get that. So then you come in, you got to answer this correctly before you can move on. This will come off once I do for get it off state license, but you'll have to answer it and submit in order to move forward. Okay. Then you can continue to the next one. Okay. Now, one of the things I want to point out here that I think is really cool. Let me put this on pause. All right. Now, you'll see here, any place that the change took place, any portion of that text that was new will be in green.
Right.
Okay. So you know exactly what happened. Now, one of the other features that I put quite a bit of time in is I took and I put a little, we call this an accordion file. But I went in and I put some additional information in here. Okay. I had to, there's a lot of work went into this. But we talk about the definition here, and we explain a little bit further than just what the author's comment is. Okay. Then we talk about the impedance bonding jumper, and we talk about it in relation to the tables and the fault current. Okay. So we put in here to help you understand that this helps ensures that the fault currents are managed safely. So if we do that, what happens? It reduces the risk of what? Damage to the equipment. Okay. So we go in, we talk about this, and then we talk a little bit about the terminology. Okay. So, and the reason we do the terminology is to let you understand that when you're looking at this, the main term they're looking at now is an impedance bonding jumper. The alternate term, when you start looking at this, is an impedance bonding conductor. Okay. Right. So that's your alternate term. So we went in, we did further explanation on this, and this is good information for you to follow for extra. Matter of fact, what I'm thinking about doing is adding this into the audio portion. So that'll work really nice for y'all. Then you'll notice that we've done a lot of work on designing the portion of the illustration as it relates to the frame. They call it the frame for the layout. And so what we did, we created a cool looking sidebar over here, with the lightning through it, stock electrical education, all that. But right over here, you can come in and you can start looking at all these sections. Okay, this is just for your own going through whatever you want to look at. So if I wanted to look at the table, I can come in here and look at the table. But I've also taken, once again, and I added it down here so it's in full scope here where you can increase the size of it. Okay?
And so that you're showing the code change publication, right?
Yeah, this is the code changes.
And that is available to PDF?
PDF is available right now. You can get it. And as you're going through this, one of the things that we also did, and I will tell you, I've already looked at a bunch of other code change publications that I've been able to get access to. They don't show you any of this stuff. But there were so many changes that were made in this last cycle that you need to know about the high voltage portion of it. So when we're talking about the ungrounded phase conductors, you're going to notice here, we tell you down here, we've added the sections here for over 1,000 volts and then for 1,000 volts or less. Okay. So if I wanted to look and say, I'm over 1,000 volts and I want to look at 268 for the minimum ampacity and size, you're going to see the wording's pretty close to the same like you would look over in 230.42. Okay. Right. But what we did is we just put these in here to get you familiar with it to start off, because these are all new sections here. Right. Okay. And then since you're dealing with the impedance bonding jumper, you're going to see right down in the grounding loop that's in the illustration there, we give you a loop here to follow. And then we also put the high voltage sections in there.
Right.
Okay. And if you want to look at the main bonding jumper, ungrounded phase conductor, grounded neutral conductor, whatever you want to look at, you can just come down through here and look. So say I wanted to see what 250-36B is. This is where you get into the insulation and capacity of the equipment bonding jumper.
Right.
Okay. So we did a lot of work here to hopefully this makes it easier for everybody. And then when it comes to your state license, you'll see we tell you here, the video has the clickable NEC sections and tables. One of the things that you'll notice as you get into this is this will start off this way here. Okay, so this is the publication, and I want to play this. So let me take it all the way back. Now, right down here, you'll see I have down here, I have the seat bar.
Look who just showed up to try to get the title back. Oh,
DJ finally showed up.
Oh, man.
Yeah. Got him right there, but
he is coming. He is coming for you tonight, man. It's pretty easy quiz tonight. I got one that is easy for you and Daniel.
All right.
So well, I'm doing the Alamo tonight. So
now one of the things that I want to point out here is this seat bar you will not have access to when it comes to the state license. It's just automatically going to start playing, and it has to play all the way through. And the reason that is because I have to track that, and it's a time tracking issue. So, but the cool thing is once you finish your state license, then you'll have access to the code changes just like this. But it won't be set up like this. The only thing that's going to be on the state license is what you see right here, right now. This is it. And there'll be multiple just going right in a row.
So I just want to let everyone know we have Sean in here, his new guy coming in. Just give you guys a backstory. What happened was I took King James's 2020 continuing education. I noticed there was a little discrepancy of about 40 code changes between books, and that's because he only has to put so many code changes in. Well, now, just to clear it up, just to make it right with me and all you guys out there, now with purchase of the continuing education class, you get a free access to the PDF of the code change book. So I just want to say I'm out there for you guys, for the people, for all you guys out there. Keeping these guys like King James honest, and making sure, not getting.
I will tell you this: we're probably the only ones going to offer you that.
Oh yeah, yeah, so, that's pretty cool. That's awesome.
But I think we've done a really, really good job on this because the way it's laid out and everything's clean. There was probably 30 versions we went through before we decided on this one. So whenever you're ready, you can just play it. And what you're going to hear, I've got a little light music.
The new 2026 National Electrical Code changes for the definition of impedance.
Yeah, that was my idea, by the way.
States that
say I wanted to look at
in an impedance grounded system
230/4281. Now see, everything is stopped. You can come in, read the section, do what you want to do. and then just click
Equipment
back to the
grounding
previous.
conductor or conductors.
Say I
And the
wanted to
grounding
look at
electrode
23090A. There you go. All your information is there. So you
of
can
the
come
impedance
through
grounding device.
and you can
The
literally
new
fall
definition
through with
has been
this
added to
and check
clarify
everything you
that an
want to.
impedance
Say
bonding
I
jumper
wanted to check
that
on
carries
the
fault
main
current.
bonding jumper. There's your information right there. Now,
Yeah.
At a
this
level
this
less
is
than the value determined.
like very clean, very fast for you to get to, and you can go through and check everything, and then come in, and then we ask you a question on it. I know this is impedance, so I just hit it, submit. It tells me I'm correct. Then I continue to the next one.
Right.
Okay. So we've put a lot of very, very important information on this stuff. So, and one thing I will ask, as y'all are going through these courses, if you see something you'd like to see us add to it, just let us know, because we'll try to add everything that we can to them. Okay. Another thing that I want to point out here, let me go to one down here that looks pretty cool. I think I have it set up where I can. No. This one's set up to where it's locked out. See how I can't go to the next one? I have to go through everything.
Right.
The reason that is because that's being set up right now for state license. And but that's an easy change. I'll take that off real quick. It's a very simple button I just have to get rid of when I get ready to make it where it's fully accessible. So, but that gives everybody a little bit idea of what we're putting together, what you're going to have access to. If you have any questions on any of this, just, make sure you send me a message. Let me know what you're looking for, what you'd like to see added, because we're always adding. And one of the things.
That's cool. It looks like Sean's over in Texas. So he's asking about the continuing education that you offer. Is it?
It's not there in Texas yet. We're getting there. Everything's being built right now, and the only things that we have right now are those free little courses. Of course, the publications we got to pay for. Like this week, we have the public, and this is something you'll see every week. Every week, I'll have a publication of the week where I'll give a 25% discount. So
nice.
You never know which one I'm going to come out with. This is what's coming out, the design series. We're already setting up for it. We already know the designing electrical systems that we're trying to have it ready by the end of summer, maybe before we're lucky, I doubt it. But there's about 1,500 new slides that are being drawn for this particular publication.
Okay.
Everything that was high voltage or low voltage is being taken out of this. This will be just or limited energy. You'll have in this design book, and if you want to deal with high voltage, then we'll have a design series for it. And then for the low voltage limited energy systems, there will be a publication for that. Okay.
Yeah.
So
and I'm guessing, Sean, that King James will probably have Colorado and Texas right about the same time. He's pretty familiar with those approval processes on how they go through. So that's what I'm guessing. I don't know. I'm not trying to speak for you, but I'm just saying it seems like in the past, seems like you got Colorado and Texas pretty much the same time.
Yeah, I figure, I'm not sure exactly, because dealing with Texas is a little bit hard. You got to go through a lot of different things. So a lot of times, and they're slow. So a lot of times it's not me, it's them getting it to give me the approval, because they literally have somebody that goes through the whole thing, and hell, they may take a month to go through it.
So altogether, like when you go through your state approval, like what are you hoping to have as far as how many states, roughly? Just a ballpark.
All of them eventually. I'm hoping by the end of the year at least having 10, 15 of them.
Yeah, and we'd have to kind of look at that, David, to try to see kind of like what your requirements are, because Is Florida going to 2023 or 2026? Because that's been like confusing to me. There's some jurisdictions.
All right, you're cutting out, Bill. With the state of Florida is a little bit different because there's some additional things I have to add in for the state of Florida. It's sort of like Texas in a way. Texas, I've got to do 30 minutes of 70E and I've got to do 30 minutes of Texas state law. Okay.
Right.
So, those are additional things I have to create. And then with the state of Florida, I have to create some additional things. So I look at Florida possibly getting them probably next year around this time or a little later, because I'm going to have to create a lot of additional items for that. But everything that I create for Florida is going to look just like everything you see here.
Gotcha.
So everything that I do will be at the top of the line that I can do it. Okay.
But
so I'm just not going to put something in just to be putting it in.
So, like, are you going to have certain states that you have to do 2023 and certain states you have to do 2026?
If a state wants 2023, then I'll wait till they accept the 2026. I'm not going back doing 2023.
Gotcha. Okay.
I don't have time for all that. One of the other things that we do here, and I put this together to sort of give everybody an idea of what we're doing. So you'll see in here we have series overload, publication series, the online course series, presentation series. Now this is important because if you're an instructor, you can actually come in and just purchase the presentation series. And when you purchase the presentation series, the presentation will be on this site. And in other words, nobody's going to be able to just download our presentations and give them to other people. You will have your access to your own presentation series that's on here. So say you had a presentation series, say it was designing wiring methods like I just showed, and you wanted your students to do that. You already have it. Then the students can come in and purchase that series for designing wiring methods, and you can teach from that. And I will set it up. More than likely, probably what you would have to do in that case, you would have to submit a PO order. And once you got that in and send me their emails and stuff, I would send them a link to the course because it would be private between that instructor and his students. Okay. Now, when we talk about series overload here, let me sort of show you what I'm talking about. When you look here, you'll see we have the full publication series. We have the instructor presentation series. We have the design series. That's coming. That's where I was talking about less than 1,000 volts, over 1,000 volts in your limited energy systems. We have the exam prep series. This is for your journeyman and masters. We have the calculation series where you can go through all the calculations. We have motor series. We have transformer series, generator series. So all of these are put in, and there will be more that are added. Then another thing that I think a lot of people like here is a subscription service. Okay. Right. So let's say you wanted to come in and you wanted to have access to something from the subscription service. Okay. Just to give you an idea. Say you wanted access to every one of our publications. You can do that for $39.95 a month. If you just want to have access to doing calculations, you can do it for $19.95. One that a lot of people seem to like here is the journeyman exam prep. You can come in and do this. So you didn't want the whole publication. You just wanted to spend 3 months studying, or maybe a full month just busting your ass, or 2 months. You could do it for 20, 40, 60, 80 bucks, whatever you wanted to do. You have access to it. That's the publication. And then when, like I was showing the designing electrical systems, we also will have one on a course one that you can do where you can do the coursework if you want. We're eventually going to have that. So this is sort of showing everybody all the different options that we're giving you. And what I tell everybody is go check your the other providers, the other people that do this stuff. See if they they provide you all these options where you can actually save money doing this.
Yeah, and if you guys just subscribe to our podcast, you can actually get a lot of this information for free, just by going and checking out our latest episodes that we had in the past. We did, I think it was 2024, from like the beginning of 2024 all the way till like summer. We did a journeyman exam, and so like. All of these are actually upgraded of what we did live on our podcast, but that's a good example of what the Stall Cups bring to the industry, and that's what's so cool. That's why I love doing this podcast, because we went through and I kind of tried to make a lot of the boring calculation part kind of relevant to like what we deal with every day out in the field. And Daniel has a good point, man. We haven't seen Gopher Fan. He hasn't come out of his hole in a while.
Yeah, he doesn't want to see this.
Yeah.
But
might not fit on his whiteboard.
One of the things that's great about this is we have a 5-day free trial on this.
Okay.
So you can sign up and you can come in and look. Matter of fact, the reason we do that, we want you to see it because we know these publications are the best out there. So we want you to come in and review them for yourself. And you can come over here and just on the side to any of these, it'll tell you what's in there. So if I want to come in, it tells you all the stuff that is covered here as it relates to calculations. Okay. Now, one other part I just want to show everybody, this is being upgraded constantly. This is our blog that we set in here, and everybody that's on the groups and everything have seen where we do the memes of the week, the illustrations of the week, and everything. So you can just come down through here. So say another one that'll be added into this is the High Voltage Live podcast.
Right.
Okay. So you can come through here and check all of our podcasts as we've done. Maybe you want to see what the weekly publication series was. You're waiting on one. You can see what we've already offered for that week, starting in January 4, 2026. Maybe you want to look at some of the memes that we've done. Here they are. This meme didn't get changed on the side.
You're saying like we on a roller coaster?
Well,
no, I was actually seeing, like, it was funny. I was telling Heidi, I was like, James all of a sudden starting to make a lot of memes. I think I created a monster.
Well, I was like, I just want to take and put a lot of stuff out there, and keep content generating all the time. And one of the things I decided to do is have like where we have the illustration of the week. It shows you all the cool illustrations that we're doing. We encourage you to go look, and just say you wanted to look at this one right here where I'm doing troubleshooting. We'll have the intro here talking about and everything. Then you come down here and we show you this where we're showing checking the leads for the rotation of the motor. Okay.
Yeah.
But
that's really important. Like, a lot of apprentices don't know how to do that. And man, that's so weird, David. Like, I don't know why Florida is so far behind, because that's weird. Like, it seems like they're like a year behind everything.
Another one that I was very, very wanted to do, and as I start seeing new stuff, is new technologies.
Yeah.
Okay. And one that is really, really interesting. I think everybody should go and read some of these. But this one that deals with AI-driven predictive maintenance tools for electrical systems. And when you come in and you look at this, I have a write-up here talking about this equipment.
Okay.
So I'm actually trying to put a lot of different things on here that, in my opinion, is very useful tools for the industry.
Dude, I'm really interested in that balcony solar. Like, if Code Making Panel 2 doesn't want it, I want it. No,
well,
just kidding.
I can tell you, I can start writing something on that. So, but this gives everybody a great, and we encourage you to share the podcast and everything, because all this stuff's coming out. It helps the the channel and all of that, especially if you like and share and all that crap. But this is what's coming for 2026, everybody.
Yeah, where are we at? Like 450 subs or something?
Yeah, something like that.
All right. So you did the meme this week?
Yep, I did the meme.
All right. Let's check it out.
Here we
King
go.
James's meme. Oh, boo, that's weak. That's weak. Oh, man. Every apprentice knows there's no such thing as a wire stretcher, man.
You know, I remember the first time I was out on the job, and I've been doing it since I was 14 with my grandfather, and they used to make me go get all kinds of stuff. Just, I was dumb and young and stupid. And so I got out of high school, and I was working downtown on a high rise, and they told me to go get a wire stretcher, and I saw that they had this machine where they had it off to the side, and they were putting up more fence around the job site. And what they would do, they'd put it on there, and it'd stretch it, pull it, towards them. And so I went over and told them, and I was gone like an hour. I said, yeah, these guys don't think I know there's no such thing as a wire stretcher. I'll tell them I couldn't find one in the job truck, but I found y'all stretching the wire over there for the fence. And so I brought it up there. They didn't ask me to go get anything anymore because I started laughing. I was
that's funny.
Like, yeah, y'all try to pull that crap on me. I've already been down that road, boys.
Yes, sir. That is the wire stretcher. I just want to give a big shout out over on Rumble. We got 3 people over there on the Rumble side. So I went ahead, I dropped the links to all your website and the stuff over there. So thanks a lot for joining over on Rumble. And like I say, it's kind of a cool platform. I like the emojis and stuff. And so, like I say,
it's real funny about Rumble because we get more views after it's over. There's a lot of people come on and watch the video. So
yeah, I think we had more than YouTube last week.
Yeah.
Or not last week, but last episode.
Mm-hmm.
But this week we're gonna go into the audio. King James, you know the rules. This is pretty outrageous. If you ask me, this is like a misinterpretation of the code. They're basically saying that the code book has been wrong for all these years. I kind of disagree, and so we'll kind of go through it and just see what you come up with.
Here we start with rigid metal conduit at one box, and then we transition to IMC, and then we transition again to PVC, and then we have another box. Is this a violation? That's where it gets a little tricky, right? Believe it or not, this is not presently a violation. Not in the 2023 edition or any earlier editions. Not a violation.
Okay, so just to describe what he's talking about, so he's showing that you have a pull point, then you have 4 bends of EMT, then 4 bends of IMC, and then 4 bends of PVC, and then a pull point. And he's saying that that's not a violation. I absolutely disagree because, for one, you're actually starting your whole run. All the code references is a run. It doesn't reference the wiring method or anything as which part of the run it is. So I just think he's wrong. We've already went through this a long time ago, and they were calling us idiots and everything like that. And now all of a sudden they're saying we're right. It's just so stupid.
Can we take and just start the myth of the week, because that's what it's going to be about, and have the illustrations and text on there as we're playing the audio?
Yeah, we can do that.
Let's go ahead and start the myth of the week.
Okay, let's do it.
It's time for Myth of the Week.
Yeah, and I do like that, how it's going to make it a little bit easier. And just for people that are like new to our show, we try to just kind of show these illustrations. You know, a lot of these like King James does himself. To me, I don't understand. This is actually an example of what Russ is explaining here, and we'll keep continuing with the audio.
That's because there is no rule that addresses when we transition from one wiring method to another. How many degrees of bends can we have? There isn't a rule. Well, guess what? For 2026, there's going to be a rule making this a violation. It's going to look something like this. Now, it's not a done deal. Things could change between the second draft and the final edition. There could be amending motions, so we'll have to wait and see. But this is what's proposed for 2026. New section 300.24, bends. The total degree of bends in any combination of. So now it's addressing when we transition from one wiring method to another. Any combination of conduit or tubing wiring methods used for a single run shall not exceed 360 degrees between pull points. So this is going to apply not to every single type of wiring method, only conduits and tubings. I think there's 7 types of conduits in Chapter 3 and 3 different types of tubing. So this requirement is going to apply to those wiring methods. So for 2026, this will be a violation. Way too many bends between pull points. Thanks for watching.
So I kind of disagree with Russ. Like I say, the code references no more than 4 quarter bends between the runs. So to me, I don't think that the transition of wiring methods is even relevant in the argument, just for the fact that, as a seasoned electrician, I'm going to, like, let's just say, for example, I have three 90s in EMT, and then I have to just get one more, but I have to go through like a hazardous location. Well, I'm gonna, just do 190 and then put a pull point, and then your whole thing resets. So then you have 4 more to the next pull point, regardless what wiring method it is. That's just the way I think about it.
Can I comment on all this?
Absolutely. Absolutely. That was the first one. There's still more.
Okay. First point of this is, why was 360 degrees put in the code in the first place? That's the most important part. This once again is a bunch of guys. They get over there and they try to take the code and basically screw it up and say, oh, well, it didn't say over here, as a general requirement. First of all, why did they put 360 degree bends in? Well, if you go back, and I don't really want to go back and research all that, but when they first put it in, it had to deal with the conductor insulation. It had nothing to do with how many bends or anything were in it. And they did testing and all that, and they realized 360 degree bends is when you started putting undue stress on what? The conductor insulation. Right. That's what it had to deal with. So therefore, there was no jurisdiction out there that was going to allow you to go over 360 degree bends no matter what, because that's the way everybody's always enforced it. And for him to come in and state here that you could put more than that before they made this change, that isn't correct.
Yeah, it's a misinterpretation of code, I would say, David. It says no more than 4 quarter bends between pulling points for each wiring method. And to me, I just see that as a misinterpretation, because, if you're transitioning to wiring methods, where do you start that run? You start that run at a pull point. So you're going to end that run at a pull point. If you transition, you still you still haven't ended the run. So like if you're transitioning, you have 390s on EMT and you want to transition to RMC, that's cool. You could transition, but you have to put a pull point because you started that run at a pull point. So just because it doesn't mention that 4/4 bends, it transfers over. So like they're trying to say, what they're trying to say, David, is that the bends reset once you transition wiring methods. That's a misinterpretation of the code.
That's
Clearly.
not correct.
Yeah, because your run started. So they're talking about the run. They don't mention the transition at all. So we'll go to this next audio. This is Ryan Jackson.
So as I mentioned a couple of times, I love it when somebody finds a hole in the code that's been there for like 100 years that nobody ever noticed. And that's what we have today. Let me ask you a question. How many degrees of bends can you have in a raceway? And of course everybody's going to say 360, right? Well, what if I have rigid, and then I put in a rigid coupling and I transition over to IMC, which is listed for both, right? Can I have 360 degrees of bend in the rigid, and then just use a coupling and have 360 degrees worth of IMC, and then a transition fitting to flex and have 360 degrees worth of flex? Well, depends on which edition of the code. Prior to the 2026, the answer was yes. You can absolutely do that. So, it's one of those funny things, man. My friend, this was my buddy one more time up in Boston, Russ, caught this and brought it to the attention of the code making panel, and everybody was shocked that he was dead right. It was not a violation. So,
see, and so that's what's really funny is, like, when you really look at this, what is... like, who's enforcing this? This is like the AHJ enforcing this. So, how are you... like, let's just say this, James, because you've been AHJ before. And I'm contractor, and I'm running this. What is my argument to get out of putting pull points in this case? Like, to me, I don't see any argument that I can make to say that I can go more than 360 degrees between pull points, regardless of wiring method. Like, I don't see how I would come to you and say, oh yeah, King James, I don't need a pull point because I transitioned wiring methods. Mm-hmm. And it's only in this language. You can't do that. And the thing is, you're going to know the code as the AHJ out there, and you're going to be like, dude, why are you trying to do this? Why are you trying to say that the code is wrong? Because it's been that way for all this time, and nobody's argued it till now.
The code wasn't wrong.
Yeah.
It's somebody, and there wasn't a loophole. You can go back and look at all publications. They tell you couldn't do more than 360. Even when we transitioned. Now all of a sudden you're trying to tell everybody, oh, well, there was a loophole. There wasn't a loophole. I'm just going to go over this real quick. Because
Yeah, I agree, David. I don't see that transition being a pull point.
I don't either. You'd have to have something that had a cover on it that you could screw off of there in order to call it a pull point. And that's what I'm going to get into right here, because they talk about fittings and connectors shall be used only with specific wiring methods for which they are designed and listed. Goes without saying. Then it says where the wiring methods is conduit, tubing, type AC, type MC, type MI, non-metallic sheet cable, wire cables, a box or conduit body shall be installed where? At each outlet point, switch point, conductor splice point, conductor junction point, conductor termination point, wiring method transition point.
Yep. There it is.
What more do you need to do? There's nothing. I don't understand, because you're making the wiring transition point here.
Yeah.
it's in black and white. What the hell were they trying to say? 2023. This covers it right here. And then it says or a conductor pull point, unless permitted in 315 A through L. Now, I'm reading to you here. If I make a transition point right there, I need what?
A pull point.
You need a box.
Yeah. Or some kind of a conduit body.
Something that's going to allow you to do that. So then they talk about unless permitted in what? A through L. Yeah. Well, what does it say here? It says wiring methods with interior access. A box or conduit body shall not be required for each splice, junction, switch, pull, termination, or outlet points and wiring methods with what? Removable covers.
Yeah.
And that's what I just stated before this, such as wireways, multi-outlet assemblies, auxiliary gutters, and surface ways. These covers shall be accessible after installation, and then they talk about a fitting. A fitting identified for the use shall be permitted in lieu of a box or conduit body where the conductors are not spliced or terminated within the fitting, and the fitting is what? Accessible after installation unless listed for what? Concealed installation.
True.
So when I go and I look at this is, and I brought this up before, and I said, you got to look at having complete runs of a raceway installation. And a complete run, based on what you're having to do there, it says raceways other than busways, listed manufacturer assemblies in accordance with 604-100, or exposed raceways having hinged or removable covers shall be installed between where? Complete between what? Outlet, junction, or splicing points prior to the installation of conductors or cables. Where required to facilitate the installation of utilization equipment, the raceway shall be permitted to be initially installed without the terminated connection at the equipment. And this is what I'm talking about, because when I go back here.
Yeah, what I'm basically saying to David is that like the transition has to be permanently installed. Like they were trying to make the claim that it could be like an Ericsson fitting or something, and you could like take it apart and pull your conductors.
No.
Well, that's not a complete raceway, and so that's why like a coupling or some kind of just transition can't be a pull point just out of default. It has to be something with the removable cover that you have access to later.
That's right. And that's why I'm getting into the fitting and I pull in the complete raceway run, because right here it says a box or conduit body shall be installed at what? Wiring method transition point. Then you pick up your fittings down here. Now what I did is I pulled a few different fittings here to sort of show you what we're talking about. Like they got these EMT ones where they actually have covers on them, and you can actually unscrew those and have access to that wire.
Yeah, that's an SLB, it looks like.
Yeah. You've got to have something of a coupling or something like that allows you to have accessibility to it. That basically is like a cover on there.
Well, and then showing my experience in industrial, like there's actually in the specs where they say no SLBs or no 90s, or they'll actually tell you in the specs. So you guys got to pay attention when you go and you read your specs when you're doing some of these jobs. Some of the job specs don't allow these kind of solutions to transitions, but that SLB that you just showed is a transition point. That's a transition point and it's a pull point.
That's right.
It's both. And the thing is, like, you're going to be hard pressed to have a complete run with more than 360. It doesn't matter which wiring method you're transitioning to. I was thinking about this all week, kind of, and it was really funny because it's a blatant misinterpretation of the code. And me and King James have been saying this like the whole time, that all these guys are doing is they're looking at one part of the code and they're saying the whole code's wrong. And they're not looking at the other section of the code that makes that impossible. And if I go out there and I put 590s on a run and I say, well, I transitioned to PVC and I transitioned to rigid, they're going to laugh me out of that building. Like, they're not going to let me get out of there without cutting in a transition point. And I usually use, a lot of people don't know about this, but I usually use like what they call a C conduit. And it just has like, it's just a straight conduit body, and it just has an in and an out.
Yeah, where you can take the cover off and get to it.
Yeah, and I use those C conduits a lot for like my transition points like that. And it just makes it nice because it's a good ending point, and then you have 4 more 90s. Like, a lot of these guys that we're listening to here, I'll play the rest of Ryan's here real quick. They've never been out in the field, and they don't. Let's just finish off Ryan's real quick. It's pretty short. It's almost done.
Article 300 still general requirements for wiring methods and materials, 300.24 bends. The total number of bends in combinations of different types of raceways is now addressed. All right, so the total number of bends in any combination of conduit or tubing wiring methods must not exceed 360 degrees between pole points. Now, again, I know you're all saying that was already required, Ryan. No, it wasn't. In the EMT article, it said you're limited to 360 degrees. In the Flex article, it said you're limited to 360 degrees. In the Rigid article, right, you get what I'm saying. But nowhere did it say that the combination, the total installation, is limited to 360 degrees. Now, looking at this picture here, I think we have a violation. I mean, that looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, probably 5 90s just in the Flex and the Liquid-Tite alone.
See, and this is the one thing I have a problem with here, because we don't, like, when I do like industrial and I do like commercial and stuff, like, we don't run Liquid-Tite like around a bunch of corners. Like, we'll use the EMT to go around the corners. We'll use like whatever wiring method to like do 90, 90, 90. And then we'll use Seal-Tite to just go into the box, or whatever. And it's weird because I've never calculated 90s on Seal-Tite. Like, I don't know. It's just weird. I don't know. Maybe that's a thing, but I don't know. That was one of my takes.
My question for Ryan is this. If I'm using, say, Schedule 80 PVC, I turn up and I go straight in to rigid. Is that a wiring method transition point?
And I don't even see where.
Sure it is.
Yeah,
that's a transition point. You're transitioning, and based on 300.15, it tells you need a box or conduit body there.
Yeah.
I mean, he sat there and stated, "Oh, there's a loophole. The code allowed you." No, it didn't. Right here, it tells you can't do that.
Yeah.
I just don't understand. I mean, I'm reading what it says here. And it says a box or conduit body shall be installed at where? A wiring method transition point. Where's the loophole?
True.
I'm going to tell you, y'all need to share this video all over social media, any other groups you belong to. People need to hear this, because these guys are out there and they're making these substantiations and everything and interpreting what they think the code had loopholes and stuff. And we're showing you here where there is no loophole here. It's specifically telling you what to do here. And like Bill was saying, he'd put a C conduit there. That would be his transition point.
True.
And he's allowed to use that conduit. It's a conduit body.
True. And David's busted these too, having like 590s in there, and it's like, did you care about what transition wiring method was? No. And the whole thing is, it's like, I couldn't imagine, David Engelhart is a AHJ, he's a plans examiner in Florida. King James is an AHJ down there in Texas, and there's no way I could have any kind of argument to say I don't need a pull point. King James, I don't have a pull point. You jip me 40 code changes, like, it's not going to fly. I'm not going to get away with it,
Let me ask you this. If I came out on job and you told me, well, That's just for that one article. And it doesn't pertain to where I made the transition to other wiring method. And I come over and showed you this as an installer, what would you say then?
Well, King James, I don't look at the code as a whole. I look at one article and say it applies to the whole entire NEC.
That's right. How many times have we said that?
So I think that's certainly a violation. But before, you could have had 490s in the liquid type, 490s in the EMT, and then transitioned over here to rigid and had 490s in it. And you'd be hard pressed to tell me what section of the code was violated, because I don't think there was one. So there you go. One of those rules that, boy, we all thought it was there the whole time, and it never was. So there you go. Kind of a fun little change to close out Article 300. We're going to get into one of...
That's all I got to say about that.
What you need to do is y'all need to take and send this over to Ryan and tell him I gave him the section where it tells him he can't do it. Yep. He said, you'd be hard pressed to show me. I'm showing you right here. Once again, Ryan, you are not an expert.
True.
You come on, you act like you are, and y'all try to nitpick the code to try to make things match some asinine thought process y'all go through and trying to find something wrong with the code. And once again, you don't know how to use the whole code. You just take little points out of the code and try to apply that, just like y'all did for an outlet. So here you are, Ryan. It says wiring method transition point. Does that not apply? That's my comment towards him.
And the thing is that a lot of people need to check out the reason I do this, like Myth of the Week, is because I want to show, like, and dude, we had a lot of really good comments on the electrical wall of shame group and on the electrical code discussion for awesome electricians. Check it out. We got a new graphic on there. Dude, I was trying to get you a freaking Longhorn hat on there, and they wouldn't let me on AI. AI was saying, no, that's a protected logo. But I have a Broncos logo on in there, you know? So I'm like, what? I was like, you know, and then I was like, what? The Broncos logo is protected too. They're like, well, that one slipped through. So then I kept trying to generate it, and then it put me in the Longhorns logo. And then it put you like sitting next to the Broncos cup. And I was like, what? I was like, I thought they was all protected logos. Now you got it all screwed up. So it's really fun to do this stuff. That's a really good illustration right there.
And I want to point something out. This is in our code change publication.
Nice.
We covered it in 300.24, but what I want you to see is we didn't show no transition. We just showed 5 bins there. And the reason that we did that is because we knew what their argument was, but they didn't go back and they didn't look at the proper sections in order to apply this properly, and knowing that if I had a wiring method transition, then I would have cut off. So in other words, I've got IMC here right there after the 4th bin. If I'd have put a C conduit in there, then I could have been perfectly fine.
True. Or what we've done in the past, and I believe there's a section in the code that gives you permission on this, is you don't even put a 90 right there. So you have your 4 bins, then you just like say put like a transition to seal tight, and then your seal tight just goes right into your equipment. And they do allow you to do that for like short lengths of equipment. That's why I didn't understand why Brian was talking about seal tight, because I could take a piece of seal tight right where you have that red X, and I could go right in that piece of equipment, and that's 100% code legal.
Sure.
I think there's a length on it. I think it gives you like a length of a certain thing.
Well, yeah. Well, you got to go over to 250.118, and you got your lengths on there depending on the size and all that.
Right. But yeah, so I mean, there's a lot of different stuff that is really hard. A lot of these guys, I don't think what they realize is that me and King James have been out in the field. We've installed a lot of stuff. We've almost always had, like we could actually quote every section that we're, doing while we're installing stuff and, giving the justification behind it rather than just this like, oh, wow, it didn't say this and it didn't say that and that means it's wrong. It's ridiculous because this whole thing, I think, is a blatant misinterpretation. I really love that illustration. That's your 2026?
Yep, 2026.
I like it. Like I say, that one right there, I think you would have no problem putting a transition and going seal tight into that equipment.
That's right.
I think that would it's not technically considered a pull point, but it gives you permission to say that you're allowed to do that for short sections.
Sure, and it's very specific in 300.15. So, we need to, everybody needs to push this out there and let people see this particular myth of the week because this is important for people to follow and understand.
100%. Well, and the reason I'm doing this too is, like my apprentice, he's a first year, he's learning a lot and, he's in school. They just sent me a thing saying they're arguing a code change about 6 foot from the bathroom sink, and there's nothing on like a doorway or anything. So, like now, I agree that that's controversial because they don't say anything about through a doorway or through a cabinet or whatever, So, it's going to be interesting how these code changes come down and how we kind of we always get better from them. Like, just so you guys know, me and King James are like superheroes when it comes to proving what they say is wrong and just going in there and just showing you the code and just showing you, hey, they don't know what they're talking about. And I love it, man. It's so awesome, So, it's really cool, especially like David Englehart, man. It's pretty awesome having David Englehart in here, and yeah, so yeah, that's true, David. To me, it really opened up a lot. David Englehart's like talking just about the interpretation only, and that's really hard because I was sitting there thinking about it, and I'm like, how does an inspector fail me? Like, David, he busted somebody for 590s, right? Yeah, that's pretty obvious. But the thing is, like, really, I try to make all my installs to where if I'm over, it's not in like a really obvious spot. You know what I mean? And I try to do my, I know I'm over by 2 10-degree offsets. So I'm going to make sure those 2 10-degree offsets just look good up in the ceiling and they're not, if I get the fish tape through there, how's the AHJ going to fail me on that? So it's that kind of thing that gives us that balance out in the field as installers where we're like, hey, I know this run's going to be over by like 20 degrees. I'm going to have 380. But I'm going to make sure that it looks good, that this pipe's at this level, and this pipe's at this level, and that I'm only doing just a really shallow offset. I'm not going to damage the conductors. Now, I could if all of a sudden I pull straight through my pull points. And I try going more degrees than that.
One thing I will say about his comment that was right there, I have no problem with interpretations. When I'm instructing, for instance, it's very rare I give an interpretation. Very rare. But if I give an interpretation, it's usually due to the code is not clear on something.
Sure.
And I'll preface that with, I can't find anything else in the code that would give me strict guidance on how to answer this. So let's take a look, and I'm going to give you an example of one. Okay. This to me, this is interpretation. What Ryan and Russ gave is an interpretation of their belief, but they didn't go look at the rest of the code and know that if you're making a wiring method transition, you had to have a full box or conduit body there. Okay.
Yeah.
So
there's exceptions where you don't, but it's not like you can just say make that one.
So there was one. It's been about 20 years ago. I was in Memphis, Tennessee, and they had me come in. They had all the inspectors around the state show up and everything. And they were having a problem. They had an old historical building, and I think it was 7 stories, if I'm not mistaken, 6 or 7. But it was all done in wood. They went up and everything was bricked all the way around it, and they had no steel or anything in the building. So what they were wanting to do is at each floor, they were wanting to put a transformer up each floor, which was fine. But where they ran into the problem was dealing with the grounding electrode. Sure. Okay. So there was, and you got to remember at that time, that's where you had to hit something, a water pipe within 5 foot of where it entered the building. Sure. And plus, I'll encourage everybody to go over to the site and go over and look at our illustration of the week, because I have one in there of a recommended chart on the size grounding electrode conductors that the Piping Association recommends for copper conductors to be connected to. And sure. Nobody else has that in their publications or anything. We got that chart because it was actually submitted quite a while back for them to make, they wanted something in there because they were getting too much current and they were putting little pinholes in it, and then suckers would start leaking. So that's what it was about, and the co-making panel rejected it. So back then you had 3 choices. What was one of your first choices? Building steel, cold water pipe, and a ground rod. Sure. Okay. And that was actually in the code that way. So they were asking me, how do we go about that? Because we want to be able to make sure we have the conductors, and we don't want to really run all the conductors down through. I said, well, what I would do is I would take, and it's funny because it's in the code now, I said I'd take me a little bus up there, about 1/4 inch by 2 inch, something like that, take it all the way up through each floor, anchor it to the building and everything, and you can drill into that, make a tap, and come off that, and then tie it down into your whole grounding electrode system. That's what they ended up doing. And then later they come in and said you had to have at least a 3/0 if you were going to run a conductor up there, but you needed to take and support it and put strain reliefs on it and all that, or maybe take and put you a bar up there that you could connect to and CAD weld it to, and then make your connections there. That was an interpretation I gave because there was nothing in the code that told them exactly what to do. Sure. So that, to me, that's an interpretation of how you go in doing something based on what the code was permitting at the time.
And that's
I could give other examples of things I've run into like that, but
that's pretty smart too, because you could make it out of copper clad,
sure.
And you know what I mean. Like, you don't need to make it out of solid copper or anything. So copper clad would be just fine for that, and that's basically the same thing as like ground rod material.
Yeah, and what's funny is in that historical building that they were making big office space and everything, making it real nice and all that, that's what they ended up doing. They took a copper bar up there, and then they mounted it to the walls, and then they come over and tapped to it, and that was their grounding electrode conductor going up.
Nice.
And then they sized the grounding electrode conductor based on the transformer that they were feeding up there for whatever separate drive system they were putting in.
All right, so, well, myth busted. We busted another one. I love it.
Yeah, we did.
I love busting them.
You know, brother, we're already at 1:20. We're going to skip the tool of the week. I mean, the topic of the week, because it's going to take me 20 minutes to go through that.
Okay.
So let's go ahead and do tool of the week.
All right. Sounds good.
time for Tool Review of the Week. Sponsored by Electricians Only Tool Review and Nipex Tradesman.
All right, so I really love this tool of the week. This is like something one of the guys like let me borrow a couple, and dude, I just fell in love with it. I'm getting my own. As you guys know, my toolbox is getting pretty big because of my tool review of the week, but most of the time these start because I just borrow a tool from somebody, and then I was like, man, I was amazed. This is really sweet. For the price, you don't get Milwaukee at this kind of price. I can't remember the exact price, and I don't want to say exactly what it was because, you know, everyone, like, you know, maybe Gopher fan will come out of his hole and say I'm going misinformation. But like I say, for the price of Milwaukee, like, this is a really good set. I believe it's like 15 piece. Half-inch drive. I love the half-inch drive. I really put some stress on that half-inch drive, and like I say, I have snapped the half-inch drive before, but I've been putting some major force on it. So like I say, this is one of the things that I kind of stress to like my apprentices is you want a tool that you can just beat really hard, and that's what's really awesome. These are like impact rated. They're all SAE, so sorry all you metric people out there. We're gonna have to find a different tool for you. They might have a metric version of this, but like I say, I just don't run across a whole lot of metric. We're still using the hardware that came from the country that landed on the moon. But like I say, it's one of those things. What does Daniel say? Oh man, yeah. So it's actually opposite Daniel, but what my rule is, I got rules from other journeymen out there, is if you have to borrow it more than twice, you need to go buy it. So like I say, if an apprentice had this thing, I'd be like, wow, dude, you are a good apprentice. But like I say, it's just one of those things that this really plays out well, goes up, to the sizes that you need for everything. To me, honestly, this is one of the best Milwaukee tools that I've come across. And like I say, it's something you need. A lot of guys are like, oh man, I don't have a socket set. And it's like, my socket set is kind of in shambles right now. It's not the greatest, but I still at least have all my Allens and all my stuff that I need for whatever I need to do, like when it comes to making up gear, making up panels. And this is the kind of set you need when they're like putting you on one-line crew. And I loved being on one-line crew. One-line crew was the funnest ever. You're just non-stop building Legos all day, and basically, I call these tools Lego builders. So, it's big boy Lego builder is what I call this set. But this is one of my favorites. If you guys are like looking for like a socket set, this is what I get. So then you could just pick whatever wrench you want that fits your thing. If you want a hand wrench or put it on your impact or whatever, then you're good to go. So pretty sweet. That's really one of my good tool reviews that I ran across. And like I say, Daniel is like assuming that I borrowed it from an apprentice. I didn't. I borrowed it from another journeyman. But so gotcha, Daniel. Gotcha, brother. Yeah, it was like one of the other journeymen, because like we were dealing with like these 3/4 bolts. So basically what it was is we were working at like a Walmart distribution facility, and we had to like bring our lift through this area, and there's these guardrails that they have bolted on, and we had to like unbolt them to get our lift through there, and it was 3/4, and I was like, oh man, I don't have a 3/4. Like I have everything smaller than 3/4. I don't have anything that large in my stuff. So I was like, hey man, you have a 3/4, and he handed me that out of his thing, and I was like, whoa. I was like, that's cool. I was like, oh, use that in tour review, you know. And he handed me that 3/4, and we just blasted out that rail. We brought our lift in there. We did our stuff, what we needed to do. Then we came back in, blasted the rail back in. But it was really cool because it made our work really easy, especially like in like Walmart distribution. Like if you didn't take that rail down to like go through there, you would have to like go around like so much stuff with your lift, and you know what I mean. It's like, you know what? It's way easier to just take this rail down, go through there, do our work, what we need to do, then come back and put the rail back, you know?
Yeah.
And so it was pretty cool. And then it was funny because, like, my apprentice, like, you know, Daniel wants to bust on, you know, me borrowing tools from my apprentice or whatever. But my apprentice is like, can we just leave the rail down for the weekend? I was like, no. We have to put it back, you know? Mm-hmm. Like, it's just like the stupidest question. Like, dude, we just took apart part of their building. Like, yeah, we're just going to leave it taken apart for the weekend. Yeah, like, that's cool. You know, like, yeah, you know, like, it's just common sense, dude. Like, yeah, we're not leaving their building taken apart. Like, we took their building apart, so we get our lift in there, and then now we're going to put it back together when we're done. Because, do we need to get back up there on Monday? He's like, no. Well, then why would we leave their building taken apart, you know? Yep. So, it's pretty cool. I really appreciate, like, all the apprentices. Like I say, I have apprentices that actually quiz me on my own show. So, quiz away. I love it. Mm-hmm. So.
All right. And I got two things I want to do before we get to question of the week.
Okay.
And the first one will be the illustration of the week.
Ooh, you got the altitude in there.
Yeah.
I like this one.
This is a good illustration. I've looked at a lot of other, I hadn't seen anybody else show this before. And we basically show you a transformer that's installed at 5,000 foot. All right. And we give you a 100 kVA transformer. It's got 120 full load amps on it. It's 480 volt 3-phase, and then we show you how to go about calculating this.
The illustration does have a slight error. It should be 5,280 mile high, baby. Mile high.
Well, it's interesting because a lot of people don't really think about and taken into consideration for altitude.
True.
And, you know, we put a little note in there that you're going to derate about 2% at 5,000 foot, and then it'll be about 6% at 10,000 foot. And what we do is we go in and we show you how to derate for this. And when you're looking at these transformers, we tell you right over here in the red box, we tell you how you want to go about looking at derating for this. So you have a transformer that's at 3,630 foot, you're going to derate about 0.3% for every additional 330 foot. Okay?
Sure.
So say you have a 100 kVA transformer, 0.3, that's going to give you 99.7 kVA. So then you look at this, and then if you had an additional 660 foot, then you do 0.6, and if you were at an additional 990 foot, it'd be at 0.9%. Okay, this is just sort of a trail that you follow, and this is something that we pulled from engineering books. This is not something that you're just going to go in and find in the National Electrical Code. And this is another reason we tell you, go look at all these other publications. See if they give you these additional information and engineering principles to tie in with the code when you're taking and designing and determining what size transformer you need, because you're also going to have to determine this. So what we do is we give you an example for a quick calculation here. So we tell you at 3,300 foot, there's two methods here for you to go in and determine what you're going to set up in order to get that multiplier. So with the easiest way to actually do it is take the 5,000 foot that you're installing the transformer at.
You almost said 5280, didn't you? You almost went 5280. I think you almost went 5280 right there.
I was like, yeah, I can't do that.
Yeah.
So you take that at that 330 foot, and then you take 330 foot after you've had all this added together. That's going to give you 5.1. You take that divided into 1, that's going to give you 0.196, which you're going to round up to 2%. Okay, so there's ways, or you can do it method 2. It's the same way. The only difference is once you've done the 1,700 foot, once you subtracted the 5,000 from the 3,300 foot, you take that at 0.3%, and that gives you 0.196, which, of course, you take the 5.1 divided, you get the exact same calculation. So we're showing you 2 calculations in here to determine this. And then once you get that multiplier, we said you had 120 full load amps. So you look over here in the blue box, and you take that at 2%, gives you 2.4 amps plus 120 amps. That's going to give you 117.6 once you subtract the 2.4. So it's going to tell you what that transformer can carry based on the altitude.
So, question for you: do they do that because of like the available air?
The air, exactly, the air
for like ventilation.
Yep, and I was have y'all ever seen this before? Anybody ever seen this before?
I've seen it like 10 times, but
because of me, yeah. But
I've been trying to get you to change it to 5280. You just won't do it.
No, it's going to stay right where it's easier for people to understand from that point. But
True.
The great thing about it is you can see how to go about performing the calculation. I've yet to see anywhere on any groups anywhere they come in and show these engineering principles once you determine what the size of the transformer is, and then basing it what it'll carry based on what the altitude is.
Well, I'm telling you that it's coming. It's out there. You just haven't seen it yet, and I just want to brace you. I don't want you to be shocked. I don't want you to be surprised when it shows up. When we've been waiting for like 5 years.
They're gonna keep waiting.
All right.
Because when we get all this education online done, that's really gonna blow them away.
Coming from a glorified ditch digger, I'll take it.
Yeah, no kidding. I'm surprised a glorified ditch digger knows how to do that. So then I did a calculation of the week for my article, and this was where you had several AC units and you're sizing the conductors. So I put a little problem here that you're going to size some THHN copper conductors, and what size conductors are required if you have 3 compressors with a full load currents of 42 amps each, and you've got a condenser motor of 3 amps each. So it's very simple. Just like I've taught this many, many times, take the largest motor, which is 42 amps. One of them has to be taken at 125%, then add the 3 amps to it. That gives you 55 amps. Once you do one of the largest, and everything else is added at what? 100%.
Yes, sir.
So you just add those up, 45, that's going to give you 145.5 amps. Then you go look at table 310.16. We're doing THHN copper conductors. The next size above that in the 75 degrees C column is 150 amps. Come across, it tells you that's a 1-aught conductor, and we tell you at the bottom note, the terminal ratings are at 75 degrees C. So very basic, simple calculation, and that's why I tell people, you want to learn calculations, go do a monthly subscription on that calculation, and you'll see these exact same type calculations in there, step by step with the sections, showing you where to get the information so you can size everything correctly.
True, and a lot of people don't realize that you can size directly off the 75 degree C column because you already factored in that continuous duty, and there's a lot of diversity, and a lot of people don't realize that. Like a lot of these motors are not running at full load continuously for 3 hours or more. So a lot of that stuff factors into some of this math. So that's really cool that you're bringing it up. And like I say, I hope my apprentice is watching so he can learn when we go to size motors. And next thing you know, he's gonna be quizzing me on this podcast.
I'll tell him if he just goes in and does like a little monthly thing on the thing. I think it's only like $20 or 15, something like that. I mean, you got monthly subscription there. You can just study for a month and then pull off, and maybe you want to study something on motors and you want to do troubleshooting. You can go in there. It's like $15-20 a month. You have access where you just pay monthly and pick what you want to do monthly. You can change all the time.
True.
Just pick your monthly little thing. So what I tell people, you want to learn something, there's something you need to know, just go in there and spend $15-20 and you get your answer and you've got access to it all month.
True.
Very simple. And I'll tell you, you ain't going to see any other providers offering you that.
I think it could be coming, man. I don't know, man. I mean, your 5 years of rain is probably, going to come.
Oh, it's going for a while, especially once those courses come out. They're going to be upset when they see. And I can tell people, just go over there and play with designing wiring methods and see what you'll learn out of that. True. Go look at the new code changes and see what all you can do with that and all the information that's provided. All the extra stuff I'm writing in there for you. There's a lot of work that's been performed or been done on the back end. And what's so funny about it, when you go over and you're actually using the program, it looks like it's just a simple program because you have access to boom, boom, boom. You can work calculations, check them out. But nobody really realizes how much work is in the back end of that system to make it do all the things that you're getting to do.
Oh, I realize I've been there. Like, just to let everyone know, one time me and King James were sitting there and I was like, man, I got all these motor calculations or all these motor leads in my head. I was like, let's do a motor illustration, And he's like sitting there, oh yeah, you want red, white, and blue, or I can't remember exactly, but you're sitting there saying what colors I want. And I was like, no, I need purple for 4, and I need brown for 7, And I like knew all the motor leads for a wedge motor. So King James has that motor, a wedge motor, all the leads, what the colors are, and everything, just from my memory and just wiring the motor. That day, and just it was really fun. It was fun for me to do it, and it was fun for you to draw the illustration. And you're sitting there like, "Oh, I'm gonna do it like this." I was like, "Nah." I was like, "That's not right." And it was funny because we got it right, and you're like, "What? A motor leads white?" And I was like, "Yeah." I was like, "That's number 3 or what?" I can't remember. Like, usually what I do, like when you have like a 3-phase motor, it's like I want to say it's red, white, blue is your 1, 2, 3.
Well, and the one that you did for that one, it was blue, white, and orange.
Okay, blue, white, orange.
If you look at the top right-hand side, I'll just put it up there.
Oh, okay, cool.
There
So
it was a wedge motor.
Yeah, so blue, white, orange. So white always goes to yellow, orange goes to orange, and then blue goes to brown. So that's a 480 volt motor, and it's like if you wire it like that, it'll go the right direction, whatever you want.
Yeah.
But it could be a clockwise motor. That's for a counterclockwise motor. Mm-hmm. But it's just that's the kind of stuff that's really fun with us, like experimenting with theory, experimenting with code, experimenting with all this different stuff, and just bringing you guys like stuff directly from the field that is our experience.
I'll give you an example. Say you're troubleshooting a motor and it has no markings. You could just go spend $15, $20, or whatever it is for the motor portion, and we actually show you how to go in and ohm everything out so you can determine how to mark your leads. That's actually in the troubleshooting portion.
And I'll go, I did that. Oh, I gotta go. I did that. But,
that's right.
That was cool. That was a fun time. So we'll go to the next segment.
Man versus machine. Or
going down.
Versus
going down.
King James.
Going down.
For years, man tried to create artificial intelligence. On this segment, we find out, is AI smarter than King James?
First one of the year for ChatGTP. Let's see
see what the question is.
I did ask ChatGTP this, and I don't know. I cannot confirm or deny if it got it wrong or right. We will see what comes down tonight. This is a good one because why would you put an electric sign in a fountain? Like, I don't know why you would put it inside a fountain. Like, that's weird to me. I don't know.
I think that's over in like 680, 56, 57, somewhere in there. But if I remember correctly, it's 10 foot. I think it's 10 foot. But we'll ask ChatGPT.
Let's see.
Get the copy here so I can plug it in. Okay.
To me, I think this is kind of a stupid code because it's like, I don't know. You could put it like 15 foot away. You don't have to put it in the fountain. Like, I don't know. Like, to me, I was just like, what? In the fountain? Like,
let's see what it says. All right, ChatGPT, what do you got for me?
Here we go. Oh, is it thinking? It's thinking hard.
It's thinking 10 foot.
Oh, what?
That's what I went with. It says 606A. I don't think that's...
Well, that's electric signs, but I think it goes
Let's see what... Because I think... Oh, it's... Yeah, that's like... Nah, this... I don't... Let me go over. I don't think it's... I thought it was in 680.
Well, yeah, it is in 680. Why would it be in electric signs?
I want to see what 606A is, because I...
Well, what it's referencing is referred to 680. I believe you're right. Pretty close on the code reference.
680 deals with...
Basically, just so everyone knows, if it's...
Well, I got the section wrong. I can tell you that.
Yeah, like, if you have an electric sign that's installed inside a fountain or within 10 foot, it has to be GFCI protected. I don't know why you would install a sign inside a fountain. Like, that's weird. Like, be like, hey, can I get that permit, King James? Oh yeah, what's your permit? I'm installing a monument sign inside a fountain. You'd be like, what? Oh no, don't worry, it's GFCI protected. Like, you'd be like, nah, dude, what? Like, why's it got to be inside there? Like, can't you put it like 15 foot away?
Yeah, well, it's actually, when you look at this, it's actually two sections, because 657. It says this section covers electric signs installed within a fountain or within 10 foot of the fountain edge. Then it says branch circuits or feeders supplying the sign shall have GFCI protection.
True.
So,
yeah, I tried to combine it, but I did it in the question. It should have caught it.
Yeah, that is the correct answer. ChatGPT. However, the section...
Because I guess it would be like 680... What did you say it was? 680.57?
680.57 A and B.
Gotcha.
So I was right. I said 56.57.
I tried to combine 56, 57 together.
Okay, so it put it in its thing, so we're good to go.
Nice.
All right.
Right on. Well, once again, you guys the AI is leveling up to King James level. Like it's getting there, but it just can't get the code right. So, like I say, you're still master of the code on that one. Like even though ChatGPT is getting it right, the reason I wanted to do the multiple choice is because there's a little hiccup in there, and
I think so too.
it's like it should have referenced 680 if it knew all the information, but so it basically I'm gonna give you a full point, ChatGPT a half point. It got the right answer, but it was still wrong. So
hey, I'm starting off the new year right, baby.
Yeah. so 1 to 1/2. You know what I mean? So we'll see. Like maybe ChatGPT could work up to a full point in the new year. We'll see.
Yep. All right, let's get in Willie Quiz time. We got that and Wall Shame. Now I'm gonna go watch some football.
Here we go. Dude, that was so funny, like when Adam made that, man. He's like playing it live on his show. He like do little entrances for like all the people on his show. It's so hilarious. Big shout out to Adam, Team SOS, awesome. Welcome to the Willie Quiz. Question number 1. Which statement about the duration of the Battle of the Alamo is most accurate? A, it lasted exactly 13 days. B, it began on February 23rd and ended March 6th. C, the siege lasted longer than the actual battle. D, the fighting occurred almost entirely during the daylight hours. Or E, the siege started before the sunrise on March 6th. Good luck, everyone.
Well, I've actually been to the Alamo 3 times in San Antonio.
Yeah, I knew this was gonna be easy for like you and Daniel. Like, dude, Daniel says it lasted exactly 13 days. That's the most accurate you got, Daniel?
I know it was 13 days, but I think, if I'm not mistaken, when it started wasn't like in the morning. So that's not exactly like 13 days. And it did start, if I'm not mistaken, it started February 23rd and ended March 6th. That to me is some more accurate statement. It's A or B. I'll go with B because I think it ended that day. Yeah, I think it's B if I remember right.
All right, King James. Oh, dude, I forgot my drum roll. Oh, what do I don't even have. Let's see. What do I have? I'll just do like. Ah, man. Clown for me. Now I have my drum roll in here. I freaking didn't put drum roll in here for the show. All right. The answer is C. The siege lasted longer than the actual battle. The battle lasted probably hours, very short hours. The siege lasted 13 days. So that is the correct answer. The whole entire event lasted from February 23rd to March 6th. So that had nothing to do, the whole siege was exactly lasted 13 days, but like the actual conflict, the siege lasted longer than the actual battle. The battle only lasted like a matter.
Yeah,
of
I knew that.
Yeah, so C is the correct answer on that one.
Okay.
You guys can take a L on that one, you little Texas boys over there. It's pretty funny. Like, it was funny because I would try to do this as like to full Texas people that know Texas history, and I know Daniel is like, dude, this is easy. I'm gonna win. So we'll see. We'll see. All right. So which individual was not present inside the Alamo during the final assault on March 6th, 1836? Was it A, Jim Bowie? Was it B, Juan Sagan? Was it C, William B. Travis? Was it D, Suzanne Dickinson? Or was it E, Davy Crockett? Good luck, everyone.
Well, it's B or C. I know Bowie was there, Crockett and Dixon, but I don't really recognize the name Seguin. I do William Travis. So, and I think Travis was there.
The reason that I just did a podcast about the Alamo, and I know he was there. The reason I was like kind of on the fence about him was because he ran out right away and got shot. So I don't know if they're trying to say
that's what I'm saying. It's inside. I'm gonna go with B because I know Bowie, Crockett, and Dickinson were inside. I do know that.
True.
So I'll go with B.
All right. Daniel is going with William B. Travis. Oh, dude, that's a good answer, Daniel.
Those are two I was between.
Oh, man. And the answer is B, Juan Sagan. And I guess he actually took a lot of heat. Like, I guess there was a lot of heat on this because he was supposed to be there and he wasn't. Like, there was a lot of controversy on it. And, like, I don't know. I guess he was, like, one of the people that was supposed to be, like, involved with everything. And then all of a sudden he just wasn't there. They're like, what? All right. Question number 3. Which of the following is true regarding the famous phrase, remember the Alamo? A, it originated during the siege. B, it was first recorded during the Battle of San Jacinto. C, it was coined by Sam Houston. D, it appears verbatim in Texas' February 24 letter. E, it was paired with a come and take it flag. Good luck, everyone.
This is an interesting one here because if I remember right, it was a term that was coined by Sam Houston. But I think that was after it was first recorded during the Battle of San Jacinto. Because I remember when I was there, I was reading something about this, and San Jacinto was in there. And I was thinking, why is the Battle of San Jacinto in here? But it had something to do with Alamo. So I think that may be what it was. I can't remember exactly, but I'll go with B from memory.
So Daniel is taking A?
Mm-hmm.
It originated during the siege. Ooh, that's a good answer, Daniel. All right, well, we will see. King James gets another correct answer.
There you go, baby.
Is B. You are correct.
It was coined by Sam Houston, wasn't it?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I freaking knew it.
You got it, man. You're just schooling
history
Daniel
buff,
tonight.
baby.
All right, Daniel needs to get the next two right to tie King James and go to the tiebreaker round. All right, so question number 4. Which military force made up the largest percentage of defenders at the Alamo? A, native Texas born from Texas. B, volunteers for the United States. C, Tejanos, Texans with Mexican descent. D, European immigrants, primarily German and Irish. Or E, slaves wanting land. Good luck, everyone. I can tell Daniel is thinking about it hard. He's like, oh man, I got to get this one right. I'm taking down King James tonight. All you have to do is tie. As one of the guests of the High Voltage Live show, Daniel could tie King James.
There was a little of everybody there. I can tell you that.
True.
But from my memory on this, that would be wrong. If I remember right, there were more volunteers from the United States that were there than there were certain big name Texans and stuff there, and Tejanos and that's not correct about slaves wanting land, but they were fighting in it too.
Yeah, so, no, it was really funny. Like I tested with ChatGPT like before I send it to you, and it was like historical nonsense.
Mm-hmm.
I started laughing. I was like, all right, that's a garbage answer.
I'm going with
D. King James gets another correct answer.
That's right, baby.
No, Daniel is gonna lose tonight.
Yes, he is. Starting the year off, it's gonna be that way the rest of the year, baby.
All right, let's see how good Daniel knows. Question number 5. Which statement about the Alamo's mission building is correct? A, it was originally built as a military fort. B, it was constructed after Texas independence. C, it was part of a Spanish mission complex. D, it served as the main defense structure during the battle. E, the Alamo building was completely destroyed. Good luck, everyone.
It was part of the Spanish mission complex.
Oh, yeah.
That's exactly what it was. But it wasn't completely destroyed either.
No.
But that's where they retreated back to. It wasn't the main defensive structure during the battle.
True. 100%. Well, like I said, let's see what Daniel has. C. Looks like you copied Daniel's answer this time. So, that's cool. You can copy Daniel, on this one. But Both you guys are correct. That's pretty awesome. Sorry I didn't put the drum roll in. I was like, oh man, I haven't done a quiz in like weeks. So you and Daniel are still here live. So let's go ahead and do the tiebreaker just for fun.
Okay.
It's just a best guess.
All right.
How many cannons were stationed at the Alamo?
That's interesting. I think.
I mean, it's not like Daniel's gonna win, but he could have some like saving grace, like get like maybe he'll say 6,000. No.
If I'm not mistaken, there was like almost 20 cannons there. I think I'll say 20.
Going 20. Oh, Daniel's going 25. King James is correct. The answer is 21. Closest without going over. Boom! All right.
I'm King on a roll, baby.
King James takes the win for 2026. Thanks for playing, Daniel. I'm going to star that comment, and you will be in the Ring of Stars this week for participants in the Willie Quiz. Really awesome. Daniel's hands down the best against you. I thought this one, I thought Daniel would know more, but like I say, I wanted to put something that was close to both you guys so that you guys could really battle it out. And looks like King James has a slight edge. Next week, I will be consulting Daniel, and we'll see how we can rig it to take down King James next week.
You need to pick a topic other than something in Texas, make it easier for him.
We'll see. We will see. Dude, he's gonna see those burnout marks tonight. You're gonna go out there and do some burnout marks, and he's gonna come visit the Stall Cup, plantation, the Stall Cup compound, and you're gonna have all those burnout marks out front, and he'll be like, "That's when I beat you on January 6th that day, January 8th, whatever day it is." Hey, but. It's really fun. Thanks so much. Thanks for participating, Daniel. Thanks so much, King James. Being a good sport. King James, he has really tough skin. I give him a lot of crap, and he takes it all the time, and it's pretty funny. And it makes it so much funnier because he gives me crap about the Broncos and all the different teams I like, the Irish, everything. I give it right back to him with. Cowboys and, the Texans, the...
Texans? We're talking about Texans.
I give it right back to you with, the Texas Longhorns and everything. So, it's cool. And Texas Longhorns, they jumped out champions, and so are the Broncos. So, we'll see. We'll go into... We have the Wall of Shame left, and we're out.
That's it. Cue it up.
All right.
Shame. 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 Shame.
So there's a total backstory with this. The whole picture, the guy said, "Hey, can you guys reconnect this so we can close the wall up?"
Really?
Yeah, that was the whole story. But I really love how you put, the guy who posted it. It was Sean, and maybe it was Sean that came by tonight. I don't know, but I always put that, "Hey, bro, freaking nice picture. We're using it in our podcast, everything." But when he said that, I was like, "What?" They're like, "Oh yeah, can you just reconnect these so we can close the wall up?" Oh man. I don't know. I don't know if there's reconnecting anything in my vocabulary with that. Well, for one, I would say who took it apart? Trencher? That's just, there's no insulation left on any of that in there.
Wow.
And
I don't know. It's hard to see the.
It's like basically
What
like
kind of
that.
box is that?
It's just a pancake, it looks like, or maybe it's like a recessed, like octagon. But there's not much.
It looks like there's like it looks like some old box. It almost looks like they. Is that for knob and tube?
Maybe. I don't know, but I don't know.
Because it looks like you got 4 individual openings that are. It's just coming in, and then your screws. It's going to go around the box, and the screws are on the side of the box. This is an older installation, and looking at that insulation and everything, because it's got the. Yeah, I think this may be knob and tube.
Maybe. I don't know. When I saw it, I was like, dude, I would be like so freaked out. Like if they're like, oh yeah, just, splice this and, tuck it in there and we're going to freaking plaster over it. I was like, what? Like, whatever, the original poster is named in there, Sean.
Yeah, just look at the wire it's coming out, and it's got the shredded, wrap around the conductor.
Mm-hmm.
That may be knob and tube right there.
It sure looks like it.
Yeah, I'd be like, I don't know about that. Yeah, that's what it looks like to me.
Yeah, it was pretty sketch. Like when I saw that, I was like, ooh, King James will like this one.
Yeah, that's what it looks like to me.
Maybe you went up there and crawled in the attic, got blasted off it, and old man was sitting there laughing.
Well, I could increase it on my side where I could see it. Nobody else, and I was looking at it real close. It's hard to tell even increasing it, but that's what it looked like.
It looked to me like it was like that cloth insulated,
mm-hmm.
and then somehow it got stripped out like to bare somehow. Like I don't know, like to me, I wouldn't touch that with a 10-foot pole if they told me, hey, make this up and we're gonna close this wall up. Like, nah, dude.
Yeah.
We gotta do something different. So
all right. Well, 17-13, Miami's up in the third quarter. I'm ready to go catch the end of the game.
Here we go. Ole Miss, come on, Ole Miss. I don't really care. I don't have a dog in the fight, but I'm not a fan of Miami. I know that Moss Sports World will hate me for that, but go David Englehart, go Moss Sports World, go Miami for you guys. And I don't know who you're going for. Who are you going for, Miami?
Nobody. I just like to watch a good football game.
All right. Well, I'm going for Ole Miss. So Ole Miss, I want Ole Miss to win, and King James is neutral. And, go Moss Sports World, go David Englehart. Appreciate you guys joining. It's been such a great podcast, and thanks so much. We are back, baby, and thanks so much, King James. As always, remember, make every day an easy day. Have a good night, everyone.
See y'all next week.